There's a lot in this motion that we can agree with, but at the core of it, we can't agree with it. I think the heart of it is wrong. It's incorrect. And just to say, we are going to get more motions like this, and so we should. About a year ago, almost a year ago, People Before Profit had a motion on the cost of energy crisis that was emerging, and nothing has changed. So unfortunately, motions and bills in the Dáil really don't deliver, not coming from the opposition anyway. And whether we agree with them or disagree with them, what we really get change on is getting the masses of people onto the streets to send a very strong message to the government, as the past has proved. So I just want to really give a shout out to the public to get on the streets on Saturday the 24th of September, all united together to force the government to act in a meaningful way. I think the motion starts correctly by highlighting the huge hikes in the price of wholesale electricity and gas, and it illustrates that correctly what is happening is poorer, not correctly that it's poorer households and families be affected, but it correctly shows that, as they account for a larger expenditure of their income on this area. However, the motion moves on immediately to conflate gas price hikes with issues around our supposed gas supply. And I think this is a real mistake, because we don't have a gas supply problem. Other countries in Europe have gas storage, and they have a gas hike problem as well. What is the problem here is profiteering. The problem is the fact that, just like Corribar Wind and Energy is privatised and we pay them all at the market headline price, the market is profiteering, and the storage for us is not the problem, and not even the war in Ukraine. It's deeper, and it lies in the liberalisation and the deregulation that happened here and in Europe across the energy sector. When you think back on how the ESB made massive breakthroughs in building a global state-of-the-art energy setup with the Ardnacrusha and later on with Turlock Hill, and they exported that across the world to show how hydropower could be done. And if we were relying on the competitive tendering, deregulated and privatised model that we have in energy now, if we were relying on it then I believe we'd still be in the dark in this country. Yes, we agree with the motion that we need windfall taxes and a decoupling of gas from renewable energy and oil, but behind the energy crisis we still have a climate crisis, and to deal with both, quite frankly, we have to move away from the Thatcher and Reagan neoliberalisation that thinks that the market will deliver the change, and that is why we are really pushing for renationalisation of the energy market. I'm glad that the motion mentions data centres. And as has been said, that data centres have had a lot of debate in this House, but the real problem is that new data centres being connected to the national grid this year and next year will gobble up a huge amount of the energy that we need, and the surge in that demand from data centres is wholly unacceptable. We cannot continue to connect new data centres to the grid. On LNGs, I really do think that this goes to the heart of why we should start with saying we do not have a gas supply problem. The Brits are not going to cut off Moffat tomorrow. If a lightning storm struck Moffat, then we might get cut off. But where is the scaremongering come from? And I believe that the hysteria is coming from the fossil fuel industry itself, who since the war in Ukraine have engaged in their own war. A war of disinformation, a war for profits, a war to ensure that we lock the planet and this country into new fossil fuel infrastructure for decades, and a war against the people because of the price hikes and the profiteering. So we don't need LNG, either private or public, but what we do need is to remember that we're witnessing record climate catastrophe at historic levels, and the radical ideas they talk about, if these are radical ideas, then God help Ireland. Thank you.